The earth we live on greatly affects the quality of the human life. And when the varieties provided by nature are added to these effects, geography proves itself, whereas history depends on the sensitivity and the respect of human beings. Istanbul, the third largest city, with historical and cultural heritage extending over the millenniums. Istanbul, connecting Asia to Europe and the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, was established in 657 BC by the Byzantines. Until the 4th century, the city was called Byzantium and was a trading center for 1,000 years. When Constantine I became the sole ruler of the Roman Empire, he named the city after himself. But after the city was conquered by Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror in 1453, the name Constantinople was changed to Istanbul, and the city became the capital of the Ottoman Empire. Today, more than 15 million people live in Istanbul, and 338,491 students are being educated in 654 schools, unaware of the dangers and the lack of interest of the concerned authorities. Insensitivity and indifference never give up on the dangerous games they play in Istanbul. And the biggest danger lies in the Istanbul Strait, where once 160 kinds of fish lived. Today, the number has been reduced to 26. The sea pollution has a vital effect on the fish and the other species living in the sea. The sources of pollution: the mass marine traffic, fuel oil carrying tankers, other sea vehicles. The degree of sea pollution depends on the dimension, number, speed, machine type, and the oil quality of the vessels. The poisonous gases from smoke burn in the air and cause local fog. These gases carried by rain and snow into the sea upset the pH balance of the water and harm the life of the species living in that zone by causing biochemical syndromes. Additional sources of pollution are sewage, garbage, dirty oil, and wastewater disposal of the boats. Industrial pollution: the industrial waste flowing into rivers such as Danube, Dnieper, and Dniester into the Black Sea. There are more than 50,000 boats passing through the Istanbul Strait every year. Over 4,300 of them are oil tankers which carry petrol and similar chemicals. The total tonnage of the oil tankers passing through the Istanbul Strait is 227 million gross tons a year. More than 16 million gross tons is diesel fuel. According to the Montreux Convention of Straits, regardless of their flags and cargo, the transit of the commercial ships is free day and night. However, this causes a great danger and risk in the Istanbul Strait. According to Article 2 of the 1936 Montreux Convention of the Straits, the ships are not obligated to hire pilot captains while passing through the Istanbul Strait, where there are 4 main currents and 12 rotation-changing sharp curves. 85% of the accidents which occurred in the last decade were caused by vessels without the pilot captains. The narrowest part of the Istanbul Strait, which is 31 kilometers long and 1.6 kilometers wide, is 700 meters between the Rumeli and the Anatolian fortresses. The minimum depth is 35 meters, and the maximum depth is 110 meters. The salinity ratio varies between 10% and 18%. The Çanakkale Strait. The Çanakkale Strait has an average depth of 100 meters. It's 62 kilometers long, and the widest point is 6 kilometers. And the danger is not over yet. Every day, 54 boats pass through the Istanbul Strait, and 12 of them are oil tankers. So the lives of millions of people and an irreplaceable historical and cultural heritage are being threatened 54 times every day. Nowhere else in the world are ancient history and cultural heritage under such a threat. The Anatolian fortress took its last shape in the 14th century with the additional structures built over the Genovese castle by Sultan Bayazid. And the Rumeli fortress was built in 1452 by Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror in order to control the traffic in the Istanbul Strait. Beylerbey and Çehan palaces were built by Abdulaziz approximately 140 years ago. The Dolmabahce Palace was built between 1844 and 1853 by Abdülmecit. As one of the best palaces in Europe, this historical building is a unique example of the combination of the Rococo and the Baroque styles. The Hagia Sophia. Hagia Sophia is known as the world's fourth biggest church. It was built in the 6th century by the Emperor Justinian and was transformed into a mosque when Constantinople was conquered by the Ottomans in 1453. The Topkapı Palace was built between 1465 and 1478. The palace, which hosted 25 sultans, is famous for its harem, strong room, and the holy relics. Here is the harem, the maiden tower which has been the subject of many myths since the Hellenistic period. If permanent precautions are not taken rapidly in the Istanbul Strait, where 1,500 small boats are being used and 54 big ships are passing through, the year 1979, the Romanian tanker Independenta crashed with the Greek tanker Evriali. 41 sailors lost their lives. The year 1994. A big fuel tanker collided with another ship. 28 sailors lost their lives, and 15,000 tons of crude oil leaked into the sea. The year 1995. The crash of Nasya shipbroker. 26 sailors lost their lives, and millions of dollars of loss. The experts and the authorities of the world have yet to develop very effective methods to clean the oil leakage from the sea. Lost lives, lost species, and polluted nature. The straits are not oil routes. Istanbul is a world metropolis, and this task belongs to all of us. The city of Istanbul is placed on the list of the world's heritages, which are protected by UNESCO. Respectfully submitted on behalf of the rights of life of all species for a clean, safe, and healthy environment.